Okay. So, stream is back. Oh, finger crack time. Alright. So, once the number of viewers goes up to at least one, we'll start. Oh. It might take a little while. But I'm a patient boy. I'm a patient boy. We're belching tonight, bros. Ooh, I should post. Oh, hello, everybody. How are you all doing tonight? People came in just as I so excellently predicted, because I'm a master at predicting. You know me. You know Sorrel. Give me a second. I need to shill myself on the internet just a little bit harder, and that'll take me just a minute. Let me get a picture. That's not what I was looking for. Let me get a picture. I'll post the same one. Okay. So how is everybody doing tonight? How is everybody doing tonight? We're gonna get started now. Once I find Vivaldi. Hi, Lucianus. How are you doing tonight? So I want to select Vivaldi, Tone class, and then I want to click this. Ta-da! And now the tigers are gone for the time being. The tigers are gone for the time being. Can I select SpringSharp with this? I'm gonna make SpringSharp full screen, so I know it'll freak out on me if I don't. Is it above? Does it go above? No. Give me just a second. Window capture. Cool. Doing just fine, man. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing pretty darn good. I forgot to do a homework assignment. I'll do that later in the night. So don't worry about that personally. Otherwise I'm doing perfect. Let's see. So SpringSharp is all the way. I'm scratching my head a little bit too loud. I need to move this down to here. And then so here's SpringSharp. So in my last lesson, I explained like how SpringSharp works and stuff. So this is kind of a review, and it's also in other ways a lot different because it's just to show some other features of SpringSharp that I didn't really show off before. But I'm doing great, man. So the date of laydown for the ship that we're going to be designing this time, we're going to design a Japanese cruiser because that's what people on Twitter voted for. There's a lot of interactions, by the way. 14 votes. Wow. And this is a Japanese ship, so all metric. So that's how we're starting off here. 1934 and metric. This is the second, or this is set in the first London Naval Treaty era, which isn't really that much different in the ways that super hard matter. Between light, or in the ways that matter for like designing a ship. It's important for other ways, like aircraft carriers mostly, is where a lot of like the changes happen from the first one. Like, you can't put guns on your aircraft carrier, and for the point of like having it be a battleship at the same time, like that kind of rule. Let me hide SpringSharp so I can show you the page on this treaty. All right, here we go. So I have some Japanese cruisers pulled up. So here we go. This is the first London Naval Treaty specifically, which lasted from 1930 to 36, except for one part of it that's not important here. For the relevant portion of the treaty to designing a cruiser, where's the tonnage limit? Isn't there a tonnage limit? Or is that second LNT? It establishes the difference between light and heavy cruisers based on gun size maximums. It wasn't totally a thing yet before then, but it was developing into a thing, so. Is it the second London? Okay, so the second London Naval Treaty is the one that actually restricts the size of cruisers, restricting them for light cruisers to 8,000 tons. Nobody signed it because it was stupid, and the Anglos went too far this time. It wouldn't be the last, but shut up, Wikipedia. You guys liking the Halloween beats, by the way? But yeah, also ask questions. You guys are totally free to ask questions. Let me actually... The real trap hollow beats? This Twitch music thing is really funny. Twitch soundtrack. Somebody unfollowed me, what the heck? Shit, where am I? Okay. My ADHD is firing up. It's really revving up in my brain. So I'll try my best. So limits are the same, 10,000, or for light cruisers or cruisers at all, 10,000 tons, okay? Standard. Versus the 35,000 for capital ships. The limit for guns is 8 inches, or if we want to be like careful, we go 6 inches. If we want to make a light cruiser. If we do a light cruiser, we're going to limit the tonnage, I think, to under 10,000. Because it's more fun, it's more of a challenge. They make a good ship in the tonnage. So there's 2 reference ships that we can use that are of this period for the year 1934. One of which is not 1934, and that's Agana, which is the only Japanese light cruiser built after the 20s. Thanks for the follow, Bone Miser. How are you doing tonight? Doing good? Agano is 1940. That's not the year we're in, but it's important as a reference for like size and stuff. If we want to get a cruiser that's 6K standard. Caltifix says, what does it mean by it was largely ineffective? That everyone just ignored the treaty? Over here? Because basically, the countries that it was really meant to control the building of, which was like Japan and like Italy, they really didn't care that much. Like, I think Italy left at some point, or they just built stuff later. Yeah, they built stuff later. And they blatantly violated it with a lot of heavy cruisers and stuff, if my memory is correct. While in the case of Japan just didn't care at all, and they broke the rules as much as they could. For example, the Tone class is 1,000 tons over the limit. Chat's kind of in the way there. I'll put it up top, in the top corner. It's 1,000 tons over the limit that they're allowed to have in the treaty. While the preceding class, the Mogami class, is nominally 8,500 tons standard. Which, if you were to look at it at all, I mean, it doesn't look like 8,500 tons. Thanks, helicopter. Thanks a lot, helicopter. I guess it's not picking up too much on mic. But, yeah, it was estimated to really be 14,000 tons. So, like, they lied about it pretty hard. And they kind of got away. Nobody really got that angry at Japan. There wasn't, like, more than other things Japan was doing making the world angry. So, it was largely ineffectual. Like, it wasn't really... Like, the punishment for breaking it is, like, the country's going, you shouldn't have done that! And then not doing anything because they don't want to go to war. Who's going to go over there and weigh a ship? Okay, hi, Bone Miser. How are you doing tonight? I forgot to ask. How are you doing tonight? I'm sorry. I talked for a while. Lucianus says, who's going to go over there and weigh a ship? That actually happened historically. Somebody actually went and weighed the ship. I'm going to clone tab, and I'm going to pull up an exact example of this happening. Just chilling, don't mind you? Okay, homie. So this is before the London Naval Treaty, but they were being built during the time after the treaty was signed, which is important because you're not supposed to have ships over that retroactively once it's signed. And it's over the limit. Standard 11,000 to 11,712 tons, which is, that's cheating on it quite a bit. That is still like 10% plus over the limit. Not allowed. And they did that on purpose. A lot of the time ships did go over, they did go under, and it was by accident, but it was very intentional. And there's a couple ways that they pulled this off. So at some point, like, it had an accident. One of the Zara class heavy cruisers had like some kind of accident. They needed to go to port and before the war, and when they went to port in like France. And they had to, or else the ship would just be lost. So when they went to France, they found out the ship was bigger than it was because the draft went so deep. For a lot of cruisers that are like heavy cruiser size, the draft is at most like 7 meters, not even 7.2, or like usually like 6.5. If you look at like Tone, 6.2, and it's cheating on the limit. 5.63. This is a light cruiser that's significantly smaller, but still, like, it's very deep for its size. And they did that so they could stick a buttload of armor onto the ship. Way more than they otherwise would have been. It's a very well protected cruiser for its size. Let's see, does it say anything on Wiki about the cheating on it? Let's see. The designers quickly found that these characteristics, which is like the armor and the guns and the speed, could not be incorporated vessel that remained within displacement limits of 10,000 tons by the Washington Naval Treaty and then later London Naval Treaty. Naval Command agreed to allow the ship to exceed the limits, but they decided to try to save as much weight as they could and not violate that too much. So there's just a bunch of stuff that they did to cheat the weight, or to lower the weight, which is good, but they still went over on purpose. Which one was the one that was found out? Okay, so the cruiser Gorizia visited Germany. On the way back, had an explosion in an aviation gas tank for one of her float planes. That forced her to put into Gibraltar for repairs. There's a British control area in the Mediterranean. It's on the bottom of Spain. It's kind of controversial, but that's not important here. There, British shipyard inspectors discovered that the ship was grossly over the treaty limit. I assume they found that by measuring the ship and doing math. That's basically the main way that they would have found that one. They wouldn't have just eyeballed it. So it's not really directly weighing, it's more estimating the weight and finding that, yeah, it's not possible to do all this stuff. And you just kind of get like a fist shooken in their face. That's like the biggest punishment you get for breaking the treaty. Especially when it's like not that much. They're nice cruisers. They're pretty nice. I don't think they're bad ships at all. Their gun mountings aren't good. The guns are too close together, so the blast interferes with both guns fire at the same time, but otherwise not the hugest problem. But to get back on SpringSharp, would you guys prefer to build a light cruiser or a heavy cruiser today? There's literally just 2 gun options, one for each for the main gun. So you guys, one of you guys, whoever says something first gets the pick. And unlike the actual Japanese, we will be following the limit. Heavy? Okay. Just a second. Which one is harder? Mega Heavy Cruiser grossly breaks the limits. The thing about breaking the limits is that it's not as fun in a way. Like it's cool and it's pretty fun. It is fun to do, but it's not fun in the same way as like challenging yourself to make it work. It's good to have that challenge. But as for which one's harder, I'd say usually light if you're trying really hard to fit into like a certain displacement that you probably can't. SpringSharp has problems with ships that are really light because it's just not pulled for them. It's mostly for like battleships and stuff. Even like the example ship on the website, SpringSharp.com. Even the example ship that they have on there is like the Bismarck, and that's the opposite of a very light ship. In fact, it's one of the biggest non-carrier warships put to sea ever. So, like number 4 or something in terms of classes. Probably actually, yeah, number 4, I think. But we can make a heavy cruiser, and then we can see, maybe we will break the limits. Maybe we'll do it. We'll do a little trolling. So now we're going to enter for country. We're going to enter Japan, type, heavy cruiser. Okay. So we're going to minimize SpringSharp, and I'll pull up SpringSharp in a minute. But if we want to look at ship sizes, we see that, did they use it? No, they didn't. You know, they're using metric. It's just weird that it lines up with inches. We are going to be around 190 meters long, most likely. And around 20 meters wide. So we're going to pull this up. And then we're going to click this. And then we're going to click this. And we got SpringSharp back. So, how does it show up on Twitch, actually? Is it still good? Oh yeah, that's readable enough. That's readable enough. Welcome all viewers. I hope everyone's having a wonderful night listening to me ramble. So for starting length, we're just going to go for a nice 200, and then we're going to go 20 meters wide, and then we're going to go 6.35. 6.35 meters deep, which gives us a normal displacement. Thank you for the hearts, Bone Miser. I appreciate it, buddy. So technically it's over treaty limit, but we haven't added fuel yet. So we're going to quickly go to flush deck just to get the numbers working, and we're going to do the normal stuff. So you want that to get the numbers working at all. If you don't have any freeboard, the numbers don't work, and you kind of just want to have that first. It's important to a lot of math. Then you want to click default, and we're going to keep additional bulkheads on. We're going to set it to 50 millimeters because it's just a healthy number. And we're going to decrease it to now for 16. We're going to come back. The bulkheads are weird with cruisers. We'll come back to that later. So now we have an actual composite strength number, 3.18. Doesn't really mean anything. It's just relative. It's a relative number. This ship is oil powered. It uses steam turbines and has a geared drive, which is basically the most common setup in the period. So if we look back at Vivaldi, we'll see that these ships have a cruising speed of about 18 knots. For 14 here, Batone has 18. It's a bit of a fuel hog, if you ask me. But we can make that work. In fact, that lets us have the ship's dimensions be larger. Because the larger the amount of fuel is, the more size you can make your ship. The Halloween theme? You can have a ship that's like 20,000 tons and it's like 75% oil and it's it's kind of crazy on another level. That's a bit too dark for the stream. I think we're gonna go back a little bit. So we want to stick to somewhere around 8,000 nautical miles at 18 knots, and that is a lot of fuel. 18 knots takes a lot of fuel. How many shafts do we have? We have 4 shafts. And the target speed that we want is 35 knots. We're not actually going to be able to get 35 knots, and I'll show you why. So 8,000 tons of fuel. We need to decrease our size a bit. So we're going to use the slider, and then we're going to fine tune it. And we are going to have a really not fuel efficient, we're going to have a very speed efficient hull form. $10,000 ton standard. So basically, oh, I forgot to turn back on SpringSharp. So we set up the speed and the machinery and stuff. We have 124,000 horsepower stuck in this baby, which is quite a lot of fuel too. But here's the problem. So the ship has, with a normal setup, 135 or 130 meters of like the expected space that all the stuff that goes under the deck for the guns, the magazines, and the machinery has to fit in this 130 meters generally. You can make it smaller, you can make it larger, but the recommended is 65 for a minimum percent of the hull. For SpringSharp at least. Real life, they want inside and outside that all the time. But here's the thing. With just 35 knots and the bare minimum, I should actually have more torpedo defense than 2 meters per side. It goes to 163 meters, which is 80% of the hull. And when you have ends that are 10%, the ship looks really silly with the guns all the way up here. So that's a good sign that things don't work. And they need to be tweaked. So there's two methods that you can use to deal with this. First is to select transom stern. And this new version of SpringSharp includes this fun little box. It's the stern width percentage. So a transom stern, there's not a picture I can really have on hand, but for normal ship sterns, they make this shape. This is a view from above for a lot of ships. In the 30s, they began to realize that if you did a ship with a stern that was like this, where it was flat on the back, your ship could save on machinery. I don't understand hydrodynamics, so I can't explain in detail how it works, but it works. The trade-off is that you use more fuel. It's not as fuel efficient. And it's also less good at slower speeds. It's better at high speeds. And that's why the fuel efficiency is less good. So you really only want it on fast ships. And this lets you select how much of that width it is of the beam. Obviously, if it's set to... Watch my comp strength to see how it changes. If it's set to 100... which is like the full width of the ship, which is kind of silly looking. I save a little bit, and I lose 20 meters of citadel space, which is really good. But we're not gonna do that much. We need to cut down on space, and 100% is a bit much. So we're gonna set it to say, let's see what happens when we set it to 20. It doesn't really save us that much composite strength, but it does a lot here. So 126 versus, for 100, 111. So we're going to set it to a nice 75, which keeps it at 111. So there's a point where it stops counting. And I think it's not that much more than 60. Yeah, it's about 65. I'm going to say 61. Yes, there's a lot of reading in my tiny little numbers on the screen. I cannot like zoom into this. I'm sorry. I mean, I could make it larger, but then you wouldn't see the right side. That's no good. 64. This is neat. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna make a nice 66. So 2/3 of width, and that just about maxes it out. We don't really care that much more. So 33 knots isn't actually the speed of Japanese cruisers at this time. They all want 35 or 36 knots. It is impossible. There's this slider down here, which would like allow you to actually make light ships that go fast. Like basically the way it works is that it puts battleship engines and everything, which weigh more and take up more space, and work differently than like the engines of destroyers and cruisers. If this slider, which they plan on adding stuff to in the future, and since development is resumed, that it's very likely that it'll be in the next year or 3, depending on how much time the guy has developing it, that this will work and you'll be able to design 35 knot cruisers in SpringSharp. Until then, we're stuck at 100. The slider just doesn't do anything. So we've got our engine, and it's very light. It's way lighter than it should be. but that's okay. So the next thing you want to do is set up the gun. So we're designing a heavy cruiser, if I do recall. So we're going to hide SpringSharp. The only real change is like some minor math stuff that is not front end, and some and that new transom stern feature. They had transom sterns before. You could select small and large, and it didn't really mean anything. So for guns, we're going for this one. And this one. And, ooh, excuse me, I believe this one. Yep, okay. So we're going to go with this one. So we're putting 3 guns on the ship. The first one is a 20 centimeter / 50 third year type number 3, which is 203 millimeters. So we're going to enter to SpringSharp, and we're going to type in 203 and 50. The year of design for this gun is 1930. Whoa, SpringSharp is just bugged out a little. Okay. Got it. All right. So now we need to go back into here. And the shell weight is 125.85 and we carry 126 rounds. So 125.85 is 125.85 and 126 rounds. This is a breech loading gun on turret on Burbette mount. The Japanese were kind of 200 IQ when it came to armoring cruiser turrets, choosing to put no real armor on them, just the most basic protection of splinters. And splinters refers to like shards of metal that go flying in the air when something explodes on a ship. And if it can go through a partition, that means one, it creates a hole that water can go through, and 2, it kills people in a room when stuff goes flying at 500 miles per hour through your walls. So generally speaking, you want like a turret to be protected from that, because that's kind of key to a ship fighting. So they put the very bare minimum to stop any splinters from entering. And if I do recall, let me hide SpringSharp. It should say actually on this article how much protection they had. Ugh, let me get comfy. There's a lot of notes here. There's like a lot of notes. This is navwebs.com. Really good resource. I could not recommend it more. It does not have the armor thickness. One of the other articles does, I think, actually. So let me go back up to the other 8-inch guns. Is it this one? They all have the same protection. And the gun house is... well, I guess not. Oh well. Wait. 25mm splinter protection. Got it. I don't know if I read this is honestly pretty neat yet, but yes it is. Forgot if I did. So we only need 25mm protection, and we're a bit over that, but that's okay. That's fine. For barbette protection, we're going to go with 102mm, which is equal to 4 inches. We're going to do something just a bit silly. We're going to go silly on this ship. These are all 2-gun mounts. Center line, foredeck forward. Actually, we're going to put these aft. We're going to put this one forward. So there's going to be 1 gun forward and 4 turrets on the back. Wonder how much testing went into stuff like this to find the optimal specs? A lot, and it was a lot more complex too. There's a lot more stages to it. Like they had to build models of ships and test them in like water. They still do this. Flotation tests, like to see if how the hull form reacts to like waves, how it writes itself, scale models. Which you could do here if you are an insane person with too much time on their hands. And I think only one of those is true for me, so that's not something I do. So we don't actually have that much composite strength left. Which one? I have too much time on my hands. I have a bit too much time on my hands. So as you can see, it's already hard. We're not even having enough space to fit all this in the hull. And our standard displacement did go down because we added the transom. And we added more fuel because the ship is less fuel efficient, so we needed more to have the same range. So we're gonna be a little bit silly. We're gonna take a hand from the Japanese playbook. We're gonna make the ship 5 meters longer. We're gonna make it a bit deeper. And then we're gonna bump this number up a bit. So this to 3. And push this to 3. So now we're 11,500 standard. We're being a little bit devious, if I must say. Ooh. That gives us a bit more comp, and additionally, it changes some other stuff too. We're actually gonna get just a bit longer, because that makes us a bit more efficient in fitting stuff inside, and it makes us more energy efficient. It doesn't really do that much actually to help. But we're working. So we're gonna go 50 millimeters of deck. There we go, 152. For the conning tower, that's 6 inches. I have all these memorized. And we're gonna start off with 102 for the belt. And that just barely works. It literally just barely works. So there's some other stuff we're gonna mess with real quick. One of those is freeboard height. Can save some composite strength by decreasing the average, and also I want a nice round 5.5 meters for the height of most of the deck. So this gave us some more of that much needed comp strength. We're gonna go 6.9. We're gonna go for the funny number, boys. Nice round 211 meters overall. Okay, so up next, we're gonna have to make another change. We're going to decrease that a bit. We're going to do the bow maybe too. Yeah, we're going to do the bow by %. Because we want the length covered to be the same as this, and we want the other length to be the same or more. So we're going to decrease these just a little bit. Perfect fit. We're going to have to come back to it in a little bit. So one way to save comp is to get rid of the additional bulkheads. This makes the ship less good, but it's a compromise you have to make in SpringSharp, because again, if it wasn't for this slider that doesn't do anything, we wouldn't be having the problem of having to make stuff fit and make those trade-offs that historically they wouldn't have had to make. If you can design a ship that works with additional bulkheads, do so. But we need the comp in order to fit our secondary battery. which isn't that large actually. So let me hide SpringSharp on OBS, minimize. We're gonna move on to our next gun, which is the very standard issue, 12.7 centimeter 40 Type 88. I believe it's the 88. Excuse me, the 89. The 88 is for submarines. The 89 is for all the surface ships. Literally every single surface ship had one, pretty much, other than other than destroyers in general, I believe. But I think some had a turret replaced with one at some point in the war. Could be wrong. So it's 127 centimeters or 5 inches, 40 calibers. It's going to have a 30 millimeter face shield. Did I put these on turret on Barbette? Yes, I did. So actually, something I'll note is for the Japanese, for their 8-inch guns, it's kind of in a weird space where it's in between deck and hoist and turret on Barbette. But you want to go with turret on Barbette for just SpringSharp reasons, because it does use more weight, but it's more accurate overall. So 127 millimeter, and they usually had 8 in 4 mountings on their cruisers. I will double check that real quick by going to Wikipedia. 8. Yup. I gotta check my phone real quick before I continue. Give me a second, sorry. This music is sending me. What are you afraid of? Okay. So these are deck and hoist mount all-purpose guns designed in the year 1929. 1929. With a shell weight of max of 23.45 kilograms and 200 rounds are carried. So 23.45, 200. 1 second. Real IJN ship hours? Who up? Me. I'm up. We're both cheating SpringSharp and we're cheating the London Naval Treaty in order to design this. Based, we all up tonight. This ship is also a pencil with that length to beam ratio. Okay, I'm changing this music. Wait, hold on. What about it? Hold on, what? This gun has anti-sub rounds? Yeah. It's a thing. They weren't that good. A lot of Japanese guns actually had them. If I go to, like, get an OBS and hide SpringSharp, minimize, I believe the 8-inch gun has them too. No. But basically all their destroyer guns had it. And I think if I go to UK, one of the other countries has it too. It wasn't a Japanese exclusive thing. If I go to here and I click on like some destroyer gun, I saw anti-sub up top. Okay, I'm not seeing it. Uh-oh. So basically the way that the anti-sub round worked, I cannot find it on here. Is it Japan? Maybe it's just all the Japanese guns. I think these ones have it. Yeah, the 6-inch guns that you could find on the Congo class, Fuso, and Nagato, I think? No, Nagato has 5.5-inch guns, which I believe also have an ASW round, but if I click here, it's from 1943, so it's not from like before the war. And it's kind of like a diving shell that's meant to like penetrate a sub and explode. Maybe? It's weird. The Japanese like their diving shells, and I don't think they really worked at all. I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't think they worked that good. However, yeah, it's not that good. It was a thing, and it was very wishful thinking, and it's not actually a concept that was lost to time. Let me hide Vivaldi just in case. And then if I type in this, there have been similar concepts that have emerged over time, such as Weapon Alpha, which is this really ugly weapon, this ugly mounting that you can see here. This is Weapon Alpha. It's an anti-sub rocket launcher. It's like a low charge shell with a depth fuse or something. No, it's supposed to penetrate. It's supposed to pen armor. Not really armor, but the hull of the submarine. I can actually see the charge, I believe. The bursting charge had the same charge as the first version of the HE shell. So about 3 kilograms of explosive. I do not know what the charge was. So it would be able to... It's not for like a deep depth charging. It's for when the sub is like near surface. So like when the sub is actually doing stuff, because the sub isn't going to be like that much deeper than like 10 meters if it's doing torpedo launching usually, I believe. I said I would change the music and then I didn't, so we're gonna go with like whatever this is. Explicit. Okay, I can't go with that. We're gonna go with this. Explicit. Songs to break up to. That's sad. Give me jazz. Classical. Classical's too bad. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. But no, it from what I understand, it goes through the submarine and explodes. Wouldn't you be better off with a regular AP round since a flat ballistic cap shell just splat on hitting the water? Well, no, because the Japanese found that it technically worked. Like, it does what it's supposed to do ballistically. Is it an effective anti-sub weapon? Not necessarily. Also, I'm inclined to believe that if they were to fire the shell, it would use a reduced charge. Yeah, also low muzzle velocity too, yeah. Like really, really low compared to every other naval round ever. It's more mortar-y than anything else, but it's still meant to hit. It needs a direct hit in order to do anything. Because I have a feeling like a 6 pounds of explosive going off next to a sub of like a couple meters away isn't going to do that much. But I might be wrong. I'm not actually that familiar with depth charge explosive filling. Probably should be. But let me get back into OBS. We're going to go back to SpringSharp. I forgot what I was doing, but that's okay. Oh, right. Okay. So we're going to guns. Yeah, it is subsonic. It is very, very it's like a mortar. Yeah, it's a yes. You have it exactly right. And also remember, the Japanese were, compared to darned near everyone else, experts on underwater ballistics. Because that was like their whole like incredible focus that they had was on like diving shells that like do a weird curve. If you have a copy of Tie Gun, which I should have brought to college with me, but I didn't, and that's okay. Sorry, I'm wiggling around in my chair. You would be able to see that I'm going to set up barbette. That stretch jumps. We gotta get stretch jumps. There's a handy dandy graph in the book. I will actually try to find it real quick, and I will post it in chat if I do. Japanese diving shell trajectory. This isn't the same chart, but it's a good one. Is there any other pictures that are better? No, just diagrams of how HMS Hood exploded. Got it. Give me a second. I want to hide both of these just for a moment. And if we go over here, we're going to pull up this. I do not know the book this is sourced from, so do not sue me, author. But so as we can see, let's see, where's my mouse? Lady Golf, or not Lady Golf, Suryago Strait, and Battle off Samar. That's the only cases where they use DAP shells like this in battle specifically, because those are the only times Japanese battleships encountered American ships, if I do recall. Here's a diagram. So the cap comes off, and then there's this flat as in not pointy, cap underneath, and all this other stuff. Thanks, U.S. Technical Mission to Japan. These might still be at the museum at Washington Naval Yard in D.C. I think the museum has been closed for a while, but they have some really cool stuff there that you should check out if you're ever there and it's open. I'd like to go down there sometime. I probably should. Some other stuff. This guy's sitting on a Yamato gun. I'm just looking at these pictures while we're here. Here's this picture that came out a couple of years ago, apparently. Thanks, Robert Lundgren. And the family of Tamashige Nagahashi. There's Musashi firing her guns during trials when she was literally just like made into like a ship that was into the Navy. So like commissioned and or after being completed. It's before commissioning. Skelly's Fangs is always crazy. Yeah, they're huge. If you've ever been to like a Iowa class battleship museum or any of the battleship museums around the country, the size of like stuff is insane. Now, I should note that the breeches on the Iowa guns are much smaller than this. They're still huge, but they're not a whole man tall, I don't believe. We're on a bit of a tangent, but it's a good tangent to be on. If I go here, and then I go here, and then I go here, get the Iowa stuff. And there's endless amounts of penetration tables. If you really want to know how much concrete, reinforced concrete, the AP shell penetrates for the Iowa class, you have a table here. So at like a max range, it'll penetrate 20 feet of concrete in theory at an obliquity of 0 degrees. I don't know. So like flat concrete. That's important for bunkers and stuff? Yeah. But there, if I'm going to be completely honest, there aren't really any other guns from World War II that have these tables. These are like post-war tables, I think. If I turn off Vivaldi, just in case. It is very important for bunkers. It's like important info, but like, it's very strange because like there's not many other weapons that have that. So I've gone ahead. Just want to make sure I don't dox myself. This is public documents from the Navy Department. Okay, we should be good. So there's this little document here from, okay, this is from World War II. So actually I was dumb. This is World War II data from 1944. They crossed out confidential in every instance where it shows up because it is no longer confidential. This is one of the more boring manuals to read. However, it does have a diagram of, well, something. The diagram reminds me of something that we will not say. It's got all these tables. Got all the bombs and all the shells, all their variants, and crater size. It includes crater size in different types of sediment at certain dive angles and speed from the aircraft. Rows of logs. It's a lot, but it's not unimportant. They just really wanted to shoot a lot of shells off. Yeah, that's probably that's a good point. That's probably what they wanted to do. Some of the eggheads said, you know what, I want to do some math and I want to watch some stuff get blown up. So the eggheads they did what eggheads do and watched stuff blow up and did the math. And measured holes in the ground with a ruler. So for pictures, there's probably a similar picture here. There's this shirtless man. As you can see, the breech block is still really tall, but it's not quite as tall as the whole man, because it starts above the ground, unlike the other one. It's still tall. It's still like 4.5 feet tall. Magazine. Now, different magazines are different on different ships. It depends, and it also depends on the type of magazine. But there. For some of the Iowas carried the Mark 23 nuclear shell, which I don't know if they ever actually tested it. I think it's still classified if they did or not, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, even if I knew. They should have. That'd be cool. It would be cool. They probably did, Atropa. They probably did. And hi, I hope you're having a good night. A very good night. We're taking a break from SpringSharp because we're almost done, actually. Because I'm a bit of a speedster. But we're gonna just do some learning. Sketch of anti-personnel improved conventional munition. This is the war crime shell. There might actually be a video on the USS New Jersey channel on YouTube. Good YouTube channel, highly recommend. That is about the Mark 23 shell. The ship carried them. I think I asked on a tour once about it. But I'm not sure. It is really cool. I like weird ammunition stuff that can also be nuclear. I'm a big fan of that. The ASROC, anti-submarine rocket launcher. That's more or less what it means. This is cute mounting. I'll pull the picture in a minute. It also fires nukes, if need be. I don't believe it's that in service anymore. Let me hide real quick. Russia is so big. We have everything. Did you all know we have tigers? May you provide the link? Go ahead. So the Mark 23 video? If it is, it's probably not public. Yeah, most likely. Let's see. Click this. I'm probably not going to pull it up on stream, but... Okay, 23-minute video. Thanks, Ryan, for the 23-minute video. The second comment on the video, at least for me, is really funny. I believe you should invest in a better microphone. I enjoy your interesting content. That's a really good comment. Also, tomahawks could be nuclear. That's true. I forgot about that. But let me pull up the ASRock. That's why I turned off the thing. ASRock nuke. The ASRock would fire a. There you go. We should be good. I'm not gonna put the video up on stream because it's 23 minutes long, and it'd be hard for me to sort through it and find what I need. But it's there if anyone wants it. Vivaldi. So there's the nuclear depth charge going off from the ASRock. Nuclear Tomahawk sounds like a cool fighting game move. Probably is a fighting game move. It's probably in Street Fighter, bro. There's a ship with the ASRock firing one off. As you can see, the sets of 2 cells independently elevate, which is neat. It's one of my favorite weapon mountings. Like, look how cute that is. That's cute. Cute little box. Nuclear armed Mark 46 torps. I can check. I believe that might be on here. Because they do keep information on literally everything. Post World War II. So Mark 46, you said. It does not say. Explosive charge. A lot of words. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. If I control F. Nuclear. The Mark 45 has a nuclear warhead. If that's what you mean. And that's a anti-sub torp. No worries, no worries. But yeah, that's a thing. I wouldn't recommend. I feel like it's. I might be wrong, but that's a bit more dangerous. 15,000 yards. I don't really think you want a nuke going off that close. Maybe like 20,000 yards. I'd feel a bit safer. But 15, 10, 11,000 yards? Ooh. I'm not feeling it, dude. Like the Davy Crockett. I think it's a bit of a bigger boom than the Davy Crockett. It would be real effective against an underwater sub. That is correct. It would also lead to limited nuclear war. But it's there in case you want it. So let me look up this. Hopefully this doesn't put me on a list looking up the warhead. Okay, I cannot find information on the Mark 102 nuclear warhead. So I don't know what the yield is. Unfortunately. But I imagine it would be a couple kilotons. Considering the size. So it can't be that much. Okay, so let's get back to SpringSharp, I think. It's only limited nuclear. The launches are in the blast radius, I mean. Yeah, it is underwater. It is a submerged explosion. That is something we should keep in mind. And if it's going after a sub that is evading, it's going to be kind of deep most of the time. So not like the biggest threat. Wouldn't it solve global warming? What with the nuclear winter? That's an option on the table to solving our global warming crisis. However, I think a lot of people would be in strong disagreement against using any kind of nuclear weapon, especially in the water, because of the effects it has on general health in the shorter term. It's a solution. It's probably not the best solution. Now, a better solution to stuff using radioactive material is obviously nuclear power, but that has similar, but at the same time less hurdles in the way. finally get to live out your fresh metal World War III fantasies. I mean, if everyone agrees to just shoot all their nukes in the air and blow them up, I don't think it would cause a world war. As long as like they all keep to the agreement and let them blow up in the air. We're on like a Evangelion angel or something. Then it would make sense. I don't think there would be a war. But nuclear war is probably one of the things that is most likely to fix climate change abruptly. After like an asteroid. A suitably large asteroid would help. In the short term, at least. A couple hundred years. Maybe a decade. But that's, I think that's less likely than nuclear war. So we're going to check armor. And we've gone over our limits again. Uh-oh. So we are forced to expand this. And it's not realistic, but whatever. As long as it works. As long as it works. We have only two more weapons to add. So we're going to have 25mm guns. We're going to hide SpringSharp. We're going to look at this. 25mm/60. We're going to see how many they have on Tone A as built. 6 times 2. Okay. So 12 anti-air guns, deck mounts, 6 mountings, twin mounts, sides distributed, and they have no shielding. If I pull up this, oh, wrong button. This 2,000 rounds of ammunition storage, and the shells weigh 0.26 kilograms. Boom. Then we can maybe shrink this down a bit. We can go 16.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.65. Let's give a little bit extra room. Actually, we are going to need the 0.7 extra room. And we have actually quite a bit of comp left, so there's a couple options we have on the table that I am considering. One of them being armor, which we actually do need to increase the size, or the thickness of, or the height of. So we're gonna make it 4 meters tall, which helps a lot. We're also going to see if we can increase the thickness, which we can't do that much. We can make it 114 millimeters, which is about 4.5 inches, which is enough to defeat a lot of 8-inch shells at combat range. Not perfect, but it's pretty good. We cannot increase the height much higher. We get an even number. We cannot go to the full round. That's actually we need a bit more composite strength. Can you also do subs in this spreadsheet sim? Not really, no, unfortunately. I'm gonna paste that there. Okay, and we can open back up Vivaldi. Perfect. Okay, just a second. For reasons of my own. Oof. Um, People are talking about me. Somebody says they love me. What? Thank you, whoever said that. Thank you so much. If it was one of you guys. I love you too. I love all of my viewers. And my friends, of course, too. You all bring me unreal amounts of joy. If you didn't know. You all are the best. Let's get back to business. That's what I think I should say right now. Okay. So I forget exactly the format we used last time, but you're welcome, How to Fix. Hi, Gondola. I was just gushing a little bit because someone said they love me on the internet. How are you doing tonight, Gondola? Sorry that I started my stream at the same time as yours, so I missed yours. So the gun setup is A, X, S, Y, Z, S, bug. Because you're such a femboy is why he loves you. Probably. They didn't put me in the femboy category on the tier list though, I don't think. So it's A, X, S, Y, Z, S, Z, Z. Um, Secondary battery. We just wrapped up the design. It was an unplanned stream for me? For you? Ah, gotcha. I heard a car start, and I'm not sure if that was the song or if it was outside. Had some free time and just did it? Okay. That's how I did my last stream. One of these. Someone said, Sorrel do SpringSharp stream. And I said, okay. And then I did it that day. Outside? What do you mean outside? Okay, oh, the sound was outside. Got it, thank you. Tertiary battery? Yes, thank you, Gondola. Big thank you. Mwah, you get a kiss for that. For Venus. So plane, we're gonna go to Um. Ugh. 25 millimeter weather deck. Your bets. Solid 1 to 2 millimeter. Okay, that's like everything I need really. Other than like I don't think there's anything else I need to edit. That's the completed ship. I can attempt to draw it in paint, but it'll look really bad compared to the last one. So there we go. I'm actually going to steal this link, and I'm going to paste it in my Discord. I can paste it places later. Does anybody have any questions? I want to put that up on screen. I'm encouraging people to ask questions. Mistext, properties. I went over most of the basics last stream, so sorry if I wasn't going into too much detail of what everything does in SpringSharp. Whoa. Eh, eh. Ooh, this song's going hard, bro. Give yourself head scratches right now, chat. Feels real nice. You have someone there with you who, like, it wouldn't be weird to ask them. Like your manager or something. Have them give you head scratches. It feels real nice. It feels real nice. You know, there's a reason why dogs like it so much. It's because it feels nice. Give me just a second. I'm gonna think of something else to do. But first, what is happening? I've missed something when I started streaming. Something scary is happening on the internet right now. What's my favorite boat? I'm happy you asked. Hopefully I don't dox myself by Googling. This is scary. We're skipping this song. This isn't the Halloween playlist. We could play the Haunted House playlist instead. There we go. This is real scary music. Are you pissing your pants right now? Because I sure am. There's witches, ghouls, and ghosts. Oh my. Oh. Oh no, witches! A trope. Have you ever met a green witch? Like out of am I allowed to say the name of that play? Isn't it like bad to say the name of that play live? You know the play with the witches. There's 3 of them. They have a cauldron and they sing. It's written by Shakespeare. You're not green. I know that. I know you're not green, but there are green witches. Green witches exist. No, not Wicked. It's the one whose name you can't say on stage. No, it's by Shakespeare. There's a play with witches. And it's by Shakespeare. No, not that. Shakespeare. Movie? No, it's a play. It's about a guy and he's like a prince. And there's like witches and they make a potion and they go, bubble bubble, boil in broth. Or something. Robert De Niro as a cross-dressing pirate captain. I think we're thinking of very different things here. But I think you probably know what play I'm talking about. And not Labyrinth. No! Shakespeare didn't write Labyrinth. Or Hocus Pocus. Or Stardust. Or Wicked. Oh, jeez. But as for my favorite boat, I forgot to look it up. I like the witch laughter ASMR. I'm quite a big fan of Hugo. Shakespeare reps everyone. There are at least 3 witches in Little Witch Academia. I hope so. It'd be a ripoff if there weren't at least 3 of them. Romeo and Juliet. No! There's no witches in that one! There's like some like shady like potion seller, but not a witch. I like Hyuga, the Hyuga class. More because of their looks than in like service. Anything they did in service. I think they're very aesthetically pleasing ships. Because they got this stupid massive pagoda that's emblematic of Japanese battleships. The Bible had the Witch of Endor. Endor's in the Bible? Oh no, you mean the Star Wars Ewok movie with the witch in it. The Bible. It's somebody on DeviantArt drew this painting. Or this picture of a picture. But I think it just looks really nice, even before it got the huge flight deck on the back, which doesn't really look bad at all. I think it looked really nice. The nice, like, break deck structure is just... It looks so nice. The libel is loosely based on Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated series. I need to watch the miniseries. I need to watch that. I watched the actual Clone Wars, and I didn't really like it that much, if I'm going to be honest. I skipped any episode with Padme in it, because I knew I'd be bored. Because I don't care about Galactic Senate intrigue, if I'm going to be totally honest. Galactic Senate intrigue is like the least interesting thing in Star Wars. I'm sorry. But it's true. What did I think of Season 7? It was okay. Any good pictures of Hugo? You love political intrigue? I do too, but it's not good political intrigue. It's like a children's show doing political intrigue. Like, the movie did it good. But the Clone Wars CGI show is not good political intrigue. I would say of all the actual like feature-length Star Wars films, the Clone Wars one is the worst. That might be a hot take. That might be a bit of a hot take. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to make hot takes. Here it is sunk in Kure Harbor, I believe, by bombing. It's kind of sticking out of the water just a little bit. It's only in like 15 meters of water. It's a very interesting looking ship, and I like that a lot. I don't know what's going on with this model, but it's not a very good one. 1250 scale. We're getting scary in here. Ah! 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 Are there any examples of extremely niche or specialized ships? Yes. Yes, there are. Ah, ghoul! No, did I just dox myself? No, I don't think so. Um, the U.S. Navy bought a barge from the U.S. Army, and it made ice cream, 10 gallons of ice cream every 7 minutes. That's a lot of ice cream to make in 7 minutes. Or in a shift, 500 gallons of ice cream, and it could store 2,000 more. To raise morale of U.S. troops overseas. What do you think about that? Is that niche enough for you? How much? 1 million. There's also like the poop barge. But I don't think that's Wikipedia page. Like there were similar barges that were just like stored poop and whatever. I mean, the poop has to go somewhere. Like usually they just dump it in the ocean, but there were also like poop barges. I think. Admiral found the poop barge. Do you need a whole barge? You already have a deck for that. That's true. But sometimes you need a barge. What else is there to go over? I don't think there's actually that much more to say this stream. Unless you guys have more questions. I'm going to mute desktop audio real quick, so the music's going to stop for a second. Okay. If you have a really admiral poop, you need a barge to show it off. Exactly, you get it, Atropa. You need a big poop barge. You can't just keep it to yourself. You got to show everybody. You got to show the fleet. Music's back. Give me just a second. Oh, cool. I didn't dox myself. I thought I did. It just pulled up a map of Italy. Or France? Yeah, France and Italy. Like the Italian border. So like Nice. So the map that I do not live in Nice. To be completely honest, senpai. So we're you've heard of the Cannes Film Festival. You get ready for Super Cannes. Oh my god. These French people are crazy. Okay, well just in case I do, I shouldn't Google things that bring up locations. I should probably turn capture off before I do that. Things are so much nicer in Nice. I agree. So much things are yeah. Oh. Let's see, things to go over here. Last time the ship did have torpedoes, but that's already something we've kind of been over. You want to go to France and eat food? Me too. It's like the only thing I want to go to France for. It's like the only thing I want to go to Europe for, if I want to be honest. They're all European there. That's like stinky. Sorry, Euros in chat. It's just the truth. You want to go to France and get clothes, but you don't want to pay for them. Then you should work in France and design clothes in France, and then you get the free clothes that you designed. 200 IQ, Atropa. 200 IQ. That sounds awful. Old gentlemen prefer blondes. I'm not sure what that refers to. I don't think I've seen that movie. Let's see. Don't remember how it turns out. Ooh. Showgirls Lorelei Lee and Dorothy Shaw travel to Paris, pursued by a private detective hired by the suspicious father of Lorelei's fiancée, as well as a rich, enamored old man and many other doting admirers. It's got Joseph Fields as a writer. I know that name, I think. And Marilyn Monroe as Lorelei. A bunch of other actors that I'm aware of. Kind of. The song sucks. I want to go to France and shower more times a week than all French people combined. That sounds like a good idea. That's probably what I would do if I went there. Are there any other good spooky songs? FBI? That sounds spooky. It's from Halloween Inferno Free, official motion picture. I don't know what that means. What was the movie? There's something that... You hear that they might have figured out who the Zodiac Killer was. It was some guy named Gary. He died in 2018, if it was him. And supposedly, he left, like, comments on, like, Zodiac Killer stuff. On, like, IMDb. Zodiac Killer comments, IMDb. Yeah, I'm not funny. They discovered Zodiac Killer found. From what I've heard, the evidence isn't the greatest, but let's go with Yahoo News. That's a good source. No, that's not it. That's a funny thing to say. That's too political for this shit. Can you imagine via movie directing this random guy is just like, this isn't accurate at all, and then later they find that he's the guy. That is very funny, but it might have easily been like a joke post. DuckDuckGo does not recommend the greatest sources from the start. The Sun is the second result. Just like the British tabloid. Please don't play Audio Fox or NY Post. Let's just get it out of here. Local Zodiac Killer expert turns out to be Zodiac Killer. Something like that. Let me turn on to Vivaldi again. This is supposedly the guy. Allegedly. Just in case there's a link to something local on here, I'm going to turn it off. Name is Gary Post. Supposedly. And he is dead. I think. I'm not a huge expert on the Zodiac Killer, or any really crime thing. So I'm not the best at that. Gary post IMDb. IMDb news article. Yeah, I'm not seeing him on IMDb. I cannot find his profile. I don't feel like looking that hard for it because there's probably joke profiles now. And that's probably what the original thing was. But the posts were from years ago, like before he died, so allegedly. So yeah, we got our ship. It's not the greatest cruiser, but it's a cruiser. What more do you really want? I mean, really. Yeah. Stretching streamer. Wow. Whoa, ho, ho. So I should note that even with the transom, our machinery is 20% of the tonnage at normal displacement, which is really high. For the battleship, it was like 10. Fuel 17.5. It's a bit higher too, because it's a lot of fuel for a lot of range at high speed. Armament is fairly low, but that's just because everything else is higher, really. Armor's at 22%. A lot of the ships I design are higher than 22% armor. So it's pretty good that it ended up there. Paul, you don't want it really to be below 26 or below 30% or even below 25. You want it to be 25 at the bare minimum. But generally you want hull percent to be higher because it's kind of just important. There's settings that you can do that make it not that high, such as having a strengthened bulkhead and making that number high. It will, because strengthened bulkheads cost nothing in terms of strength, at least according to SpringSharp. It takes all that out of the hull. I believe the metacentric height for this cruiser is a bit lower than the Japanese target after they had experienced some ships flipping and performing bad in heavy seas. Last stream I said I don't really know anything about it. I still don't really know exactly what it means, but what you need to know is that they liked it being higher than lower. I think they wanted a target of like 1.2 or 1.3 for cruisers around this size. We're at 1.1. So it's better than it could be. But yeah, I think we've gone over just about everything we need to tonight. Let's turn off this music. We're gonna figure out who to raid. Thank you so much, seriously, everybody, for being here tonight. I very big appreciate it. Let me turn all these off. The idea of being in a ship that flips over is terrifying. It is. Look up the Tomozuru naval Tomozuru incident. I'll link it here because I do want to end the stream since we're at the 2-hour mark. I am ending Shock News. Did you just get here? I'm sorry, Bubby. We finished designing the ship pretty quickly. Next SpringSharp stream will be a bit longer because I will be min-maxing my ship a bit harder. It's never real need to min-max a cruiser when I'm doing it live, but the next ship is a challenge that I've posted and done before, but I'll do it again in a different setting. So if you read up on this torpedo boat's wiki page, torpedo boat Tomozuru, which famously flipped, as in capsized, and all but 13 men, I believe, of her crew was lost because it had a high center of gravity and a low metacentric height. Which just basically made it unstable. The higher your metacentric height, the more stable the ship is generally. There's a separate Wikipedia page for metacentric height, but it's not entirely in the same context. My ship is more min-max than yours is, so I should do the designing. I'm better than you are, so I'll do the SpringSharp. Do I have gadget on for this? Minecrafter. Why are you still here, Gadget? Gadget. Oh, I turned off the notification. Get out of here, Gadget. There we go. Get out of here, Sorrel Gadget. Inspector Sorrel. You know what? I'll turn back on. I'll turn back on Vivaldi on stream. I've never opened SpringSharp before, but I value my own opinion higher than yours, so I should do the design. Feel free if you want to do a SpringSharp stream. Let me know, and I'll try to watch if I'm not like in class or something. If someone else streams SpringSharp, that would be very based. I'd like as many people as possible to learn it and to just enjoy the hobby, just designing stuff. It's very nice and comfy and fun and happy. Where's Vivaldi? I want to do a little bit more talking since more people came in. Somehow right at the end. It always happens. I don't understand how and why. But people always come in at the end of my stream. Is there a Pokemon type program where you can simulate battles between SpringSharp ships? Not exactly. What about Magic? Um, there's a game called Ultimate Admiral Dreadnought. It's not the greatest, but you can sort of do that. You design ships. It's not the SpringSharp standards, and it's not going to be the kinds of ships you want. It's going to be more like that. There's like a PS1 or like a PSP game or something that was like naval battles where you design a ship. It's more like that than PS2 maybe. Forget what it's called because I wasn't a PS2 baby. But it's a bit more like that than a true simulator. You cannot simulate naval battles in Magic the Gathering effectively. However, there are pirate decks, and there are technically cards that are ships that are actually even creatures. There's skeleton ship. Let me pull that up. So this is like all the different centers that a ship has, and I can't begin to explain this. Because there's like buoyancy going on here and physics. I'm not an insane person. I don't do math. For you Magic the Gathering fans, there's this incredibly based card. Look at that. It's not a good card. It's a horrible card. It's literally unplayable in the modern setting. I don't really think it was that playable when it came out, actually. 5-drop for an 0-3 that has a downside and only puts -1/-1/-1 counters on creatures. That has a place. And it's a very based card because it's a skeleton. But it's not that great. There's a skeleton riding on what appears to be a flying sea turtle in the art. It is a horrible card. That's the case for a lot of the legendary creatures and legends. Most of them suck. There's a few good ones, but most of them are really bad. This isn't quite a Magic the Gathering stream. So if you give me a moment, I think I will end stream in a second. I'm just going to mute desktop audio. So I do want to figure out who to raid. I have an idea of who I want to raid, though. But I'm not sure if they are live. Because they do short streams. No, she went offline. She's going to raid Lapin, but it appears she's done for the night. She does little mini streams. No, show more. I can do... I haven't rated him before. I'll rate him. All right, everybody, have a fantastic night. We're going to go back to the Tigers screen. Russia is so big. We have everything. Did you know that we have tigers? Russia is so big. We have everything. Did you know that we have tigers? Russia is so big. We have everything. Did you know that we have tigers? Tigers. I don't know if I have that one on my Russia tigers. Switzerland. This is baffle. These comics. They're not say so. And they're not something I would post on Twitter. Or with my own name. But the edits to these are something else. It's something else. Where's the original? Where's the original one where he's talking to Switzerland? Oh my god. This one's so good. Give me a second. 312. Okay. Let me change this background. You guys think about this comic? Where's the text? There it is. I love how the first speech was perfectly centered and the second one isn't. It's because it's originally in Russian and people translated and put text onto it. I did not put the Russian one up because it's harder to find for one on the Western internet, and also none of us, I don't think, can read Russian as far as I'm aware. So that would kind of be a problem. It'd be a bit of a problem. Have you heard about my tigers in space? I froze your bank account for suspicion of corruption. But that's all I had. Just eat some tigers. Where are the Poland edits? I can't post the Poland edits. I can't put the Poland edits on stream. They're not say so. They're incredible, but I can't put them on stream. Hi, Savas. We're about to end stream. I'm just shit posting live with these edits of Russian nationalist comics. You see, if it's politics and it's not American, it's geopolitics, and it's okay to talk about on stream. Especially Russian. That's like totally cool. Nobody cares. Nobody has that much of a stake. Russians don't watch Twitch, I don't think. Maybe they do. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to be rating. If he's still on, we're gonna do a refresh. Show all. We will be rating Mr. DJ Discotheque. He's doing his music. We're gonna give him a raid. Because he watches me. And he's epic. But hi, Savas. Thank you for coming. It's the end, unfortunately. But I appreciate you being here. The VOD will be up, so don't worry about that. We're gonna raid Discotheque. What? His music was very loud. So he's playing some acid techno mix. That's pretty cool. And I think my stream just died. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I have a stream with Atropa. Wait, it died a little. Okay. See you guys tomorrow. I have a stream with Atropa. We're gonna go Zatsudan. We're gonna talk about military history. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna rock. It's gonna rule, bro. And you're gonna have big epic funds. You're welcome. 2000 EDT. That's right. That's 8 p.m. EST. For is that a train? Weird. But yeah. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be reading training manuals, and it's going to be weird. And that's going to be epic too. But I wish everybody here a fantastic night. We are on EDT. That's like the same as EST. So yeah, we're on that. I was just clarifying for everyone else. I don't know. Have a good night, fellas. I love you all. Mwah.